In this second introductory tutorial to the AVID software and the AVID keyboard and what it offers, I'm going to be looking at what I've put on these function keys up here, so as to bring menu items and buttons much closer under your fingertips, buttons that you're going to be using all the time. Let's have a look at them one by one. So to demonstrate this, I've dumped the real keyboard and replaced it with the AVID graphic keyboard. This demonstrates what I've put on each of the function keys and indeed the rest of the keyboard. Let's go through these one by one quite quickly so that you just get an idea of what I've chosen. Now F1 is taken by Windows as a help key, so this is not allocatable. F2, I've got quick transition, and on the shifted layer, which is now displayed, I've got remove effect, so they pair up nicely. This one, F3, render effect or render at position. Again, a pair of rendering keys. F4, the effects mode, which takes the AVID into the effects mode. And on the shifted version of F4, the effects palette. Again, I'm not going to go into details about this at the moment. It's far too much information to take on all at once. It's just there to show you. Remove match frame edit is a useful feature if you've got lots of created match frame edits on your timeline. To create them, I've got that on Shift F12. Let me demonstrate what match frame edits look like. If I go Shift F12 there on audio 1 and 2 and Shift F12 again, I've created these black transitions, black line transitions here, and the AVID's telling me that, hey, they're transitions, but they're actually linked. They'll play exactly...
Your golfing partner, wasn't he? Just look at all the trophies.
Without any difference. There's an edit, but there is no edit, if you understand what I mean. And to remove those edits that I've just popped on, which of course you can manipulate and move around, I can hit my F5 key here, remove match frame edits, and they've gone. F6 is useful in that it's called cycle picture sound, and what that does is it cycles the track selections around between no tracks selected, all tracks selected, just the video, just the audio, and back to no track selected. So if you've got a timeline which is 20 tracks deep, it's very useful to turn off all the video or all the audio or everything and then just reselect a couple. F7 brings up the motion effect editor. So slow motion and fast motion effects can be done on that. That brings up another dialog. And then these 5 remaining F function keys, I've allocated duplicates of source record, trim, and which side you trim up on these keys. I thought when I was first learning AVID that I thought I'd put them up here, and it's sort of, they've remained there ever since. If you can find things better to shove there, well, that's fine. Have we covered everything on here? No, we haven't. There's a couple more to do. Make subclip. What that does is it, from an in and an out, it will take a chunk of either your edit or your source side and duplicate it as a separate clip which can go in a bin. So you can take a chunk of edit which you know you're going to be using again, maybe the arrival of a caption or an ad break or anything like that, and duplicate it and then make a subclip from that, and therefore you're able to pop that into a bin and then duplicate it anywhere in the rest of the program or rest of the sequence. A very useful key there. Clipboard monitor on F7. Whenever you take a chunk out of an edit, when you delete a shot, it automatically goes into the clipboard monitor. This brings the clipboard monitor back up, and you're then able to reposition that now deleted chunk and put it somewhere else. And in putting it somewhere else, it offers you a means of moving a great chunk. So if you're reordering a scene, yes, you can delete it temporarily. It goes into the clipboard monitor and you can put it somewhere else, the position you now want. Match frame, what match frame does is you can position the cursor anywhere you like on the timeline, hit match frame, and it will find the exact frame and name the clip and give you the time code of that matched frame. So you can use this shot or other bits of this shot somewhere else in the timeline. So if I go over the trophies, hit match frame, up come the trophies. If I hit that frame there, up comes that frame. And the key alongside is find bin. And what this does is it finds the bin that this shot was used from. So if you wanted to find another take of this shot, that would presumably be alongside this shot in the same bin. It will find and open that bin so that you can then select a different take. And the last one on the F keys that we've got here is add edit, which we've looked at already. This just creates dummy edits along the timeline wherever you want them. You can then cut a chunk out or move it or do whatever you like. So we've really sort of gone along the function keys. This key here is toggle source record. What this does is it makes either this monitor active or this monitor active, and you can see by the highlights along the bottom of the windows themselves. So here we're on the record side of things, and here we're on the source side of things. Other keys on the shifted layer, these two keys here move the edit by fields. Now this is to do with interlaced pictures. If you wanted to look at the second field of any pair which make up a frame, you can do that using these two keys here. Coloured markers, very useful so that you can mark and comment on certain bits of the edit. The title tool is here on Shift T. We've talked about in the previous tutorial about enlarge and reduce the timeline. And the only other keys I want to talk about are these two keys here. Out of the box, AVID allocates these two keys, which are active, to roll a multicam edit around the various shots included in that group. So these keys will move a certain chunk of your edit from camera 1 to camera 4, to camera 3, to camera 2, and back to camera 1 on a ladder basis. Now, if you happen to just brush past those keys, it will alter, without your knowledge, a great chunk of your edit across to camera 1 instead of camera 4. So what I've done is I've put these two keys on shifted functions. So it requires two buttons to alter a multicam edit around its various options, which does allow you to alter the ordinary versions of these two keys to whatever you like. I've got this key as a cycle trim and this key to view a four-way split when you're in a multicam mode. Let's get back to editing some simple exercises where a lot of this keyboard stuff will naturally fall into place.